Greetings everyone, and I hope you're all doing well out there, and welcome back to the channel for another 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And today we've got something a little bit different. We're going to be taking a close-up look at the Storm Collectibles Kenshiro from the Japanese manga and anime Fist of the North Star. The review will take the usual format. We'll have a quick look at the box, then it'll be down onto the table for the accessories, then it will be out with the master of Hokuto Shinken himself for a close-up look, and finally we'll be wrapping the whole thing up with the usual showcase at the end. But before we get into it, a bit of background for the uninitiated. Fist of the North Star appeared as a manga back in about 1983 and has gone on to anime films, TV series, video games, and even a live-action movie made back in 1986. And tells the story of Kenshiro, a master of the deadly art of Hokuto Shinken, which gives him the ability to kill his opponents in a wide variety of hilariously gory ways by striking them in certain vital points on their bodies. Kenshiro wanders a post-apocalyptic wasteland, defending innocent people from bandits and warlords. Imagine, if you will, Mad Max meets Mortal Kombat, and you're close. It is over the top, it is bloody, it's batshit crazy, and a whole lot of fun. Now, this is the first ever Storm Collectibles figure in my collection, so I'm not sure quite what to expect. I do know they specialise in Japanese anime and video game characters. They do a lot of Street Fighter stuff and things like that. But this is new ground for me. But that's enough of my ramblings. On to the box, and very nice box it is too. It's quite an odd shape. It's got a very large frontage, but it's very thin at the sides. What you've got on the front cover here is this rather amazing manga stylized drawing of Kenshiro himself. This looks to me like it's been lifted directly from the original volume 1 of the comic books, and it really is very, very nice, incredibly colourful, incredibly stylized. What you've got in the top right, left-hand corner is 40th anniversary, because these figures have been made to coincide with the 40th anniversary of Fist of the North Star. Storm Collectibles in the top right-hand corner, Fist of the North Star 1/6 scale action figure, Kenshiro here. Now, I don't read this writing, but I am assuming that that says Fist of the North Star. On the sides, that artwork is continued. You've got that huge moon in the background. That's continued on the sides here. Once again, that same logo. Continued around this side as well is that artwork with the same logo again. On the bottom, you've got all the usual warnings and credits. Don't piss this figure off, or it might fist you and make your head explode. On the top, we have got the same logo again, and on the back, another stylized picture, once again, which I believe is probably lifted directly from the pages of the comic book of Kenshiro himself. It's a slipcover design, this box. I really do like the artwork on this. It's great. It takes me back to my childhood. We'll take this slipcover off so I can have a look underneath. And what we've got underneath, obviously, is the usual plastic windowed frontage with the figure behind it, Kenshiro again on there. There seems to be a moon behind him there as well. And if we turn it round, yet another hyper-stylized picture lifted straight from the comic book. I think this artwork is fantastic. I really like it. I think it just looks phenomenal. So yeah, that's the box. So without further ado, oh, I didn't mention this is a brand new figure to me. It's literally just come through the door. So what we're going to do now is crack the seals, get the accessories out, and dive down onto the table and have a look at all the bits and pieces that come with the figure. Okay, so here we are down on the table with all the accessories that come with your Kenshiro figure. Hands is the first thing that springs to mind. A lot of hands, and you know me and my hand fetish, so I'm in hog heaven with this one. And I have to say, before we get into it, if there's an award for the best smelling figure of 2024, this one is most certainly in the lead. Call me weird, but I love the smell of a brand new figure. It smells like victory. But yeah, that's enough of my weirdness. Let's have a look at these hands. Now, there's no stand with this figure either. Literally, this is all that comes with the figure. It's the jacket, the figure, and these hands. There's a pair already on the figure itself, and you've got these gloved right hands and these ungloved left hands. So we'll pick a couple at random. We'll go with this one. Let's have a look at the quality of the sculpt here. Now, what we've got to remember here is this is an anime manga character, so we're not going to be looking at the same level of details. It's hyper stylized, so the attention to detail really doesn't need to be quite as on point. It just needs to capture that spirit of the manga and anime. The sculpt looks pretty nice. You've got some bone work in there. There's sort of fingernails sculpted into the ends. There's some creasing in the hands, but not an awful lot. Pretty uniform paint application, not an awful lot to write home about. Let's do the flexibility test. These are quite soft. In fact, let's call it what it is. These are very, very soft. But yeah, that's that one. Let's grab another one at random. Let's take this one. Yeah, same story here. I mean, obviously these hands are designed for fighting poses, for squaring off poses, but yeah, same quality here as well. Not an awful lot of detail there. The paint applications are pretty nominal, but yeah, they do the job. Let's take a look at one of these gloved hands. Yeah, what you've got here is pretty much the same story. It doesn't, yeah, the paint applications aren't perhaps the best in the world, but they're pretty decent. You've got this sort of leather effect paintwork on the fingerless gloves. These sort of gold shield sections, plated sections where the knuckles should be. There's a strap. There's some nice texturing to give it that leather look effect, and it's the same story with the flexibility as well. And you get a wide variety of ungloved hands, pretty much the same as the of gloved hands, pretty much the same as the ungloved hands. Looks like they've been replicated just with this leather effect fingerless glove. So yeah, that's your hands. There's lots to go at there. Good for posing. So yeah, let's put these to one side and let's take a look at the only other accessory that this figure comes with, and that's his sleeveless leather jacket and shoulder pads. Now, I believe this is pleather. I'm pretty certain it's pleather. It feels like pleather to me. It's lined. It's got this sort of nylon lining. Fully functioning zips. I'm not a huge fan of 6-scale zips, but it is what it is. The quality of stitching is pretty good. In fact, it's very good. So this is a brand new figure to me, so this is the first time I've seen these accessories, but the stitch work in there looks really nice. These shoulder pads look screen accurate. They're actually attached to the jacket by two plastic studded sections at the back there, so that's what's holding it on. I don't think it's attached at the shoulders. No, it's not attached at the shoulders. That lining's continued around the collar, if the camera's picking this up. And these shoulder pads look very screen accurate, very comic book accurate to me. There's some nice paint applications on there. There's some weathering, not a huge amount, but there is weathering on there in these grey sections across the top. The paint applications are good. There's rivets in here that have been picked out. There's some weathering on these brown shield portions at the back. Yeah, you've got picked out these sort of what look like possibly, well, I'm not sure what they are, but yeah, you've got some nice paint applications on these two sort of red sections on the top of the pads themselves. But overall, yeah, feels pretty good. I will be treating this with Aerospace 303 to ensure that this thing doesn't fall to pieces within 30 seconds. I am assuming, I've done the sniff test, and just by the feel of it, it feels like pleather. But yeah, that is the waistcoat itself. Very nicely done, screen accurate, and there you have it. So that's all the accessories. Not a huge amount to go at. So without further ado, let's bring out the Fist of the North Star himself. Let's bring out Kenshiro, get him onto the turntable, and find out what he's all about. Okay, so here he is. It's Kenshiro himself, straight out of the box, straight onto the turntable, and first impressions are very good indeed. He's managing to freestand on the turntable. He's got some heft to him. He's a big guy, but it's not overly weighty. It feels solid, but not ridiculously heavy. But yeah, first impressions are very, very good indeed. The outfit looks screen accurate to me. The proportions, the ridiculously oversized proportions. The head sculpt looks absolutely spot on. Yeah, first impressions are very, very good. But let's get in close with this guy and have a look at the details. We'll do what we always do. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up. Get him into shot here without cutting his head off. These boots are all one piece of sculpted plastic. It's a soft plastic. It's harder around the feet, so I'm assuming that they put solid feet in there. But it's a soft plastic. It's got this rather nice brown paint application. There's a little bit of weathering on there, not an awful lot. There's some creasing at the heels. Let's bring him round. Yeah, and there's creasing around the back as well. At the top of these boots is this sort of gold band effect. There's some weathering on there, some dry brushing to give it that metallic look, and bring out those details. Then it's on to these pleather pants. Now, these pleather pants are very high waisted, and this is the style. If you know the manga, you know the anime, you'll know that these proportions are correct. His legs are incredibly long. His chest is incredibly muscular. But yeah, so we've got the same continuation of pleather that we saw on the jacket, the sleeveless biker jacket. The stitch work on here is really nice. The 6-scale stitch work. It doesn't throw out the figure. It looks in keeping. There's a sort of tailored crotch area there. Quite tight fitting. Now the body underneath these pleather pants is solid, as it is under the legs. But when you get up to the top here, what you're looking at is what I think is a soft rubber or soft plastic. I think it's more rubber actually. It feels like rubber overlay to give it this sort of the muscularity. So I'm not quite sure how they've done this. So you've got the hard plastic legs, and I'm assuming then possibly that it's jointed at the waist. There, yeah, it feels like there's a joint there, and the articulation is very good. So I'm assuming what you've got here, this is pegged directly into the leg section. At the top of the pants, you've got this, what I am assuming is a pleather belt. This is not sculpted on. This is pleather with these plastic detailings here and a plastic buckle. Bring it round, and those details are continued round the back. The sculpting on the musculature of this body is really, really good. It's hyper exaggerated, just like the comic books. Crazily detailed. The paint applications are nice. There's some they pick out. There's sort of some reds in there to pick out those details. But yeah, we'll swing him back round, and he's got the familiar scars on his chest and on his abdomen. Those on top of those crazy abs from where the villain tried to kill him at the early stages of the epic story of Kenshiro. The arms themselves are actually pegged in. I suppose if I was to maybe pick a niggly, I don't want to say a complaint, but maybe it would have been nice to see a fully seamless body on this one. But then you're going to be looking at having to make a custom seamless body. And I suppose that would raise the price point quite a lot. So they've gone with this sort of, as I say, soft rubber over the top of the body itself, and pegged arms. The articulation in these arms is really good. We'll get him into camera actually, so we can see some of these details a little bit better. Let's just adjust this lighting so you can we can get the best possible view of this guy. Yeah, the paint applications on this body are really nice. The sculpting of the neck area, the sculpting of the biceps. The paint applications, when you get up close, aren't the best in the world, but you've got veining picked out there. It captures, most certainly, it captures that hyper realistic look that Kenshiro has. On the arms here, you've got, I think this is an overlay of plastic that's been sculpted to look like bandages. The paint applications are pretty good. There's some detailing on there to make it look like material. On the right arm, we've got this gauntlet. Once again, I believe that's actually sculpted on to the body itself. Oh no, it's not, it's overlaid. And then you've got the gloves themselves. I mean, it's done quite well to make it look like one continuous glove. So yeah, that's the body. Let's check this articulation now. I would suggest with this figure that posing these legs for any period of time is going to put a lot of undue stress on this pleather. So I'm going to be keeping him in a museum pose other than when I do the showcase. But let's check the articulation. Yeah, the articulation is good there, but as you can see, it's already putting that pleather under a lot of pressure. So I think dynamic posing with this one could be an issue. It feels like, I mean, I don't know if the camera's picking this up, but it's straining that pleather already. at the knee there. So yeah, I think exercising caution when posing this figure. I think it's going to be a vanilla pose once we've done the showcase for this guy. But yeah, overall, I think they've done a very good job of capturing that that likeness of Kenshiro. Let's check the articulation of these arms. Obviously, there's a full range of motion at the shoulder here because they're pegged in, and you've got what feels like a ratchet joint at the elbow. Once again, because this is a rubber overlay on the body, I would recommend not keeping it in dynamic poses for any length of time, as it may very well rip or tear this rubber overlay. The head sculpt itself, see if I can't get this into shot, that is very, very good. I do like that. It's a pegged head sculpt. The range of motion is pretty good, although it's limited by that ridiculously thick neck that he's got there. Also, as well, you've got the hair sculpt, and that will, I mean, looking at the back here, sorry, let me get this into shot. I would be careful, I would exercise caution if you're picking this figure up when you're moving the head, simply because there are some sharp pieces on the bottom of the hair here, and they're going to rub against that rubber, and there may be some paint transfer and risk of ripping. But the hair itself is actually very, very page and screen accurate. You've got this sort of super stylized mullet with this fringe falling down. It's spiky. There's individual strands in there. The paint application is pretty good, and it captures that anime feel. The face, obviously, of the head sculpt is super stylized. Not much by the way of paint applications, but the eyes are nice. The likeness is most certainly 100% there. It is a lot easier to sculpt an animated character than it is a real human. But overall, yeah, it's 100% on, as far as I can see, with that elongated face and sharp chin. So overall, yeah, I think that Storm Collectibles have done a fantastic job here. What we'll do before we flip over to the showcase is actually get the waistcoat on him to see how he looks with the waistcoat on. So let's cut to the waistcoat. Okay, so here he is, Kenshiro with the leather waistcoat. And I have to say, this is going to be the look that I'll be sporting in the display. I think it looks absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, once you've got it, getting it on is actually a relatively straightforward process. It's none of this bending the arms way back and so on. You can simply pop either of the arms off. Those ball joints at the shoulders are very, very easy to remove and very easy to put back on again. It's one of the simplest figures I've ever had to work with, and one of the easiest as well. But yeah, as I say, this will be the look I'll be rocking in the display. I think it's iconic, and I think it looks absolutely phenomenal. It doesn't fasten this vest, unfortunately, but that's simply the sheer mass of the torso itself. If you were to create a vest that fitted and was able to zip up the way that biker jackets do, unfortunately, it would be so big it would be completely out of proportion. So, but I think it's a great look having that vest open, so you can see all the wonderful sculpting on the abs and on the chest and those wounds as well. So yeah, there you have it. That's Kenshiro from Storm Collectibles, and I am suitably impressed. I am. Score out of 10. Difficult one, this one. There's a couple of minor niggles. Well, I'll say minor niggles. They're probably things that I would like to have seen improved, but I recognise that would up the price point quite a lot. Well, it would have been nice to see perhaps a different material used. We recently reviewed Susu Toys' Rorschach, and they opted for a rather unique solution to that problem by using a different material that's more hard-wearing than pleather. And it might have been nice to see that, or even real leather, but once again, that's going to up the price point. And really, that's probably the only minor niggle. It might have been nice to see a fully seamless torso, but you know, it is what it is, and once again, that's going to up the price point. So, score out of 10 for me. I know it says niche, this figure, but I'm going to give it a 9. Maybe a 9.5. To me, it absolutely is 100% Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. It captures the feel, the look. Everything is absolutely spot on. The outfit is 100% screen accurate and page accurate. The head sculpt is spot on, outfit spot on. Proportions are completely correct. I think altering the material would have allowed some more flexibility within the knees as well for posing, without damaging that pleather. But once again, the trousers, it's balancing out against screen accuracy because they were this tight. So yeah, I'm going to give this guy a 9, maybe a 9.5. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this one? Have you got this in your collection? Is Fist of the North Star something you're familiar with? I'd be fascinated to hear your take on this figure. So please drop a comment in the comment section below. And I suppose all that remains for me to say is a quick rundown of what's in the pipeline. We have Pop Toys, Ujio from The Last Samurai, that's coming in pretty soon. We have Hot Toys Scarlet Witch, that's on its way. BM Projects Canada Bike, hopefully that'll be arriving pretty soon as well. We've got a retro review coming up pretty soon as well on the channel. We're going to be taking a retro unboxing and review look at Hot Toys Battle Damage Terminator, the T800. We've got the final in our trilogy of Watchmen figures with Susu Toys The Comedian. And we've also got an updated tour video coming up because so much stuff has been added this year that I think it demands that we do another tour video. So yeah, if you haven't already, please hit that bell notification icon and subscribe button so you don't miss anything. And to all those people who already have and are supporting the channel, a massive thank you. It is greatly appreciated. And also I'd like to send out a huge shout out to William Wang for providing me with this figure. As always, there'll be a link to his webpage in the description below. If it's anything 6 scale you're after, drop him a line and I am sure he will be more than willing to help you out. So all it remains for me to say, from Kenshiro, the Fist of the North Star, and from myself, take care of yourselves, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.